Hello everyone and welcome to another FeedArmy video. In this video we will be talking about the data feed requirements and tips and tricks. Make sure that you have watched all the other videos, which is the pre-checklist that explains a little bit about the basics, what you need to make sure that you are aware of, and also the website requirements, which you can click on the links in the video, or you can click on the links in the description. So let's get started. The data feed. There are 4 types of options that you can choose when submitting data to Google Merchant. The first and most basic one is the text delimited file. So you can upload a CSV file or use Google spreadsheets to create your products that you can submit to Google Merchant. This is useful for when you have a limited amount of products. Let's say, for example, around less than 50 products, it's worth doing it through Google spreadsheets. Please be aware that all pricing and availability must correctly be the same as on your website and your stock inventory at all times. So if you make a change, you have to update your website and also update your data feed. So if you have a lot of products, maybe this is not really the most suitable option. The second option is to, if you have a dedicated web developer, is to ask him to create an XML data feed that's pulling information from your database and then submits it to Google Merchant. Another option is using a plugin if you're using a e-commerce platform. These types of plugins are, can be server intensive, might be missing certain features, but it's useful for simple things if you have simple information. However, Google Shopping is becoming more and more complicated, so maybe plugins are not as suitable. I recommend you read all the reviews to make sure that you're 100% happy. Do not commit until you are happy. The last one is a data feed management tool. There are tons out there, and also actually I have an application that does that too. So make sure that you check your requirements. What do you want to do? Do you want to have the ability to change the pricing in the data feed management tool, or do you want to simply have a data feed management tool that improves the ranking and improves all other elements for the data feed, and do the bidding elsewhere with a different type of tool or within Google AdWords? So there are lots of different options that you can choose from. I recommend reading up on all the other options and see which fits your business best. When you submit a data feed, it takes 3 working days before the products are reviewed. If it takes longer than 3 working days, then most likely you have an issue in your data feed or your website, and I would recommend contacting Google AdWords, making sure that you don't have any issues. When you submit your data feed for the first time, always submit a test feed. Why? Because you need to make sure that you do not have any errors or warnings. It is very good practice to always submit a test feed and then a standard, i.e. a live feed, because Google is very trigger happy in suspending your account if you do not correctly create your data feed. So just go the extra mile, do a test. It only takes 5 minutes. Make sure that you have done everything correct. When submitting images, make sure that they are around 800 by 800 pixels. The minimum requirement is 250 pixels square, but I do recommend a little bit higher because Google is broadening the horizon into different areas and needs a high quality image. I also recommend that it is square, does not have any text, watermarks, borders around the edges, or people in the image. What you need to show is the product itself. There's no point showing anything else because that is not what Google wants, and also not the customer. If you are looking at a product, you want to see the product itself. Make sure it fills up the image 100% or as much as you can, and remove any old white space, meaning that just scale it so it's properly in the image. Do not upscale, because that means you are actually decreasing the quality of the image. Make sure that the images you upload are 100% correct, as in the resolution is perfect. You can submit the shipping price both in the data feed and Google Merchant. If you submit it to Google Merchant, it's very easy to do. You just click on shipping in the left-hand corner and then add your shipping rules. If you submit pricing in the data feed, it overrides the Google Merchant defined settings. So this can be very useful if you have pretty much a wide scale pricing, but maybe for 1 or 2 products you have the odd pricing, then you can update that in the data feed. Make sure that the shipping prices are accurate or an overestimate. Google does check everything from A to Z, including the shipping pricing. So they do effectively try to purchase a product on your website before you submit, or when you submit your new data feed, but also after a half a year or a year, they will do sporadic checks. So it's important that everything is 100%. Your main focus for the data feed is the title. The title defines the keywords and is the key route for your quality and ranking in Google Shopping. So you need to make sure that the titles perfectly describe your product. So you cannot, make false claims or add keyword stuffing or anything that is bad. For example, do not use pharmaceutical keywords or weapon-related keywords or sexual connotation. So that needs to be done both on the data feed and in the website. Make sure that the titles are crisp. Make sure that when you submit the pricing, sale pricing, etc., that they are VAT inclusive if you are outside of the US, Canada or India. You cannot submit pricing excluding VAT. Also make sure that if you are submitting bulk products, as in, let's say you have a product that costs $2 per piece and you can only buy 100 as the minimum order, you need to submit the pricing as the minimum purchasable amount. In this case, 100. 100 times 2 is 200, so the sale price is $200. You cannot do $2 because that is not possible and it's against Google Shopping policy. Make sure that the availability is always 100% accurate, both on the website and in the data feed. So the price and availability, if a product is out of stock and you do not have it in your inventory, make sure that it says out of stock. Google can identify these kinds of things, so make sure that you have all your data 100%. Make sure that when you submit products, that if the manufacturer has assigned a GTIN, Global Trade Identification Number, or which is easier understood is the UPC or EAN, i.e. the barcode of the product, that if it is on the product, you need to submit that to Google Merchant. As of now, it's a little bit half-half that they require you to do this. Certain products do have to do that if it's a designated brand. However, on the 14th or the 1st of February 2017, you need to submit the Global Trade Identification Number. So I recommend, to avoid a headache further down the line, make sure that you add that information. You can use a barcode scanner on your phone to scan all your product information, or just write them down on a spreadsheet and add them into your data feed. But it is very important that you do this, and it is recommended for data feed quality ranking. For every type of product, there is also a minimum requirement that you add. For example, you need to add an ID, title, description, image, etc. And for apparel, you need to add the color, gender, and age group. So there are a lot more features that you need to add into your data feed. So I recommend checking the link below to check what you need to add. Because if you do not add these, your products will not be allowed in the data feed, in Google Merchant, sorry. So that is pretty much it for today about the website data feed related information that you need to add. The next video is going to be Google AdWords related setups, but it's more going to be links towards tutorials because it's quite complicated to explain just in a video. So I've explained it either in a written article or in a video demonstrating within Google AdWords. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time.